G'day folks, this is Angela from Tarot as Art, and here is an image of my beautiful Greek English Iliad and Odyssey that I got many years ago. It's on my Instagram. There's some pictures of some images inside, but on top is the most current translation. And you know, all the hoopla at the moment, so why not? I'll do a sort of understanding of what Greek tarot decks I have. I am going to put this off the table because it is extremely big and extremely heavy, and I put it on the ground. Now, everything that's happening at the moment with Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is quite exciting, whatever you think of it. If you do want to have a look at what I sort of think of it and how I view it, it is on my Instagram site, but I don't want to go into it too much now. I might say a few things. I'm enjoying, you know, my nails are here as well, sort of the wine dark sea. This is some mulled wine. It is the heart of winter in Melbourne. I am getting a sunny day, so this is mulled wine. So a bit of cinnamon, it had some orange pieces in it. Just divine. So I'm going to be drinking this through everything. So there's quite a few decks to get through. So many, so in fact that the oracle decks I'm going to keep separate for part 2. So let's start at part 1. And of course I've kicked the camera as usual. And let's start there. Now, I do recommend Emily Wilson's translation. 100 pages in, right? We have the first line, okay? Which I'll read out to you just a little bit. Tell me about a complicated man. Muse, tell me how he wandered and was lost, and when he had wrecked the holy town of Troy, and where he went and who he met, the pain he suffered in the storms at sea, and how he worked to save his life and bring his men back home. That's the opening sort of sentence of how she translates it. Stunning. Okay, so let's start there. I mean, why not? All the hoopla people may be interested in the tarot decks. So let's see. Where do I start? I think I'm going to start with, okay, the deck I probably like the least, right? Here it is, the Mythos Tarot, Guidance from the Greek Gods, Helena Elias. The only reason I don't like it is because I'm not into the artwork. This is a mass market deck, as you can see from Rockpool. But it has a very interesting book. And in that book, I think she does a great job. She's picked certain gods for things, and she understands her stuff. And she's got, you know, keywords: abundance, prosperity, security, success, enterprise. And that's the King of Coins. And she's picked the god Hyperion. Now, I quite like the book. I like what she's written. And I like the quality. It's always shiny. Shiny is always good for me. Easy to read. Excellent job. I think this comes in a tin now because it got so popular. But my problem is I have taken it to the store where I work. You know, I work in the Melbourne CBD. People love it, especially the younger people. They just adore it. They love the images. I mean, it's gilded. It's recommended. I dislike the artwork because it's too specific, and it just brings me to the present, and I don't want that. I like it when it's more like this, where it has got some kind of interest. But I mean, you know, this is memory, Mnemosyne, 6 of Cups, and the beautiful butterflies. Knight of Wands. I mean, there's these sort of hottie people. No one's saying they're not hotties. They're all hotties. Even the older hotties are older hotties. Eight of Cups, Chiron. But it just, I hate it when I get sort of modern day faces in the deck. It's a shiny quality. The backs are gorgeous. I like the backs. But if you want to sort of just start getting into it, you know, I've put it here. I've kept it. I hope the light's okay. Maybe it's lighter on that. I don't know. Is it lighter on that side? I'm trying to get the natural light in for you guys so I don't have any... See, I like this. This is probably the Page of Swords. Right, I'm just trying to get this. I'm just trying to get this right for you guys. So hopefully... You're probably looking at it thinking, why is she being so particular? But here we are. Here's a person with tattoo. It just takes me out of the mythic and into the modern too much. That's why I don't like it. But as I said, I think it's a good deck. And I think she's done a great job of it. And if you, in terms of the meanings and in terms of what she's doing. And the quality of rock pull is excellent, right? So it goes through all of it. It keeps the Greek names. And it's obviously it gives you little spreads and things that you always get. I like the Olympian spread too. That's in here. Right. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Athena. What must you do to be fair to yourself and to those around you? They're good spreads. It's a good book. Okay, it's just those images. But I do, because people have told me that they like it, I do bring it into store and I do use it. For myself, I never read with it. So I put it in this little bag. The bag doesn't come with it. It's just, it keeps it all together and nice if I just want to throw it in the bag. Because in the morning, sometimes I'm trying to figure out what goes in the bag. And, yeah, nails, wine ducksy. Okay, so let's do something completely different. So, let's do probably the best deck in this category and the most popular. So this is Chris Leach, who is Welkin, who is just a master at creating tarot decks. This is a stunning deck. Okay, it's called the Odyssean Tarot. And probably the most pertinent to what we're doing at the moment in terms of the Greek myths, because that's what we're dealing with. I think this is still available. I don't think it's not. I think you could probably go to his web. I'm not sure if he's got an Etsy. I can't remember. I didn't have a problem getting it. So, and I'm in Australia. We have problems with getting everything. So either Etsy, eBay. I think Etsy. I think I might have got it from Etsy, his Etsy store. So here it is, and the book is brilliant. Color pictures, he understands everything that's happening, and the imagery to me fits the imagery of what I like. Perhaps, you know, I'm a classicist or what have you, but I like not seeing sort of modern faces in mythological scenes. So, I mean, that's his book. And he's a very detailed writer. The quality of the book is excellent. The cards are outstanding. They're large, which I don't mind. I've got tiny hands and I still don't mind. You can see there's numbering on top, right? And no titles. I guess if I had any issues with this deck, it would be that... Oh, that's upside down. Sorry about the nudity. I mean, this is tarot, so look away. If you're offended by nudity, I'll be polite and tell you to look away, but it's tarot and it's mythological people and it's art, classic art. So, you know, we need to get real about this. This is Sisyphus, of course. I don't like it when I don't have titles on cards. And I think where it showed up the most for me was at the beginning with Tierra May's Ritual Tarot. I know Ritual Tarot now, but I've had to write on the cards to know the cards before I got to know the cards. Yes, she did some where the backs were titled, but, you know, you don't want to turn around a card and have a look at what card it is when you're reading in a store and you're a professional tarot reader. You want to know what it is. And I do want to know what it is. You know, I'm just not reading images. If I'm reading images, that's great. I'm an image reader, but I'm a tarot card reader. I want to know what card it is, because when I read off the card, I don't just read off the deck. I read off the history of all the meanings that I've been reading since I was 15 years old. So when I see the Page of Swords, for instance, and when I read, you know, in some 18th century descriptions from Italia and who knows who, that's, you know, it's a spy card. It's a spy card, right? And that goes back a couple of hundred years. Now, every time I see it, I'm not just going to read it pertinent to a certain deck. I read it to all. Every time I do a tarot reading, every meaning, everything comes into my consciousness and the images. So I do like to quickly see, right, this is probably the Five of Pentacles, probably. I don't know this deck that well because I haven't had a minute to write on the cards and then use them constantly, because I can see she's out in the cold. But I do like the cards, beautiful backs, to be noted. And especially in this deck, because kings, queens, and the rest of it are just numbered again. So this is 12. So what does that tell me? What does it tell me? 12 is in the major arcana, the Hanged Man. 12 in what suit it is probably a king. Is it the king? Which king is it? See how, I mean, you tell me what card that is. Yes, it could be the Hermit, for sure, because it's a 9 and he is the Centaur. But anyway, I will write on these with a little nice texture, but the images are just outstanding. And does it matter? Not at all. Like 2% it matters for me, but for a professional reader, I haven't got time. And the only thing that gets you to learn a deck, as I did with the Ritual Tarot, is just continual use. Look at these images. This is a brilliant deck, a brilliant book. And when we're crossing the wind-up sea, we're finding out about ourselves. We're finding out about who we are and what our journey is. So the Odyssey has a relevance that goes beyond mythical, and, you know, the monsters they're fighting are probably the monsters of everyday life, of yourself, of the battles that you fight at work, at home, everywhere. So that's the beautiful Chris Leach. Now, okay, next tarot. Okay, let's go mass market. So here we are with the Circe Tarot. So Circe does play a part in the Odyssey, as we know. We've got the story of where she turns everybody into, or some of Odysseus's cohorts into piglets or pigs. But, you know, it's a great story. This is Los Scarabeo. Beautiful deck. I've edged it in this sort of, I don't know, I think it's gold, not bronze, but it's coming off very sort of muted. But sometimes with the Sharpies, it does that. It's got a book. You know, with Los Scarabeo, it's always a bit dubious. But this one is quite good because it does go into it a little bit, right? The Empress, Lady of the Earth, Demeter holds her hands. It tells you it's Demeter. Sometimes it just gives you the straight out tarot meanings that everybody knows. Oh, well, okay, not everybody knows, but it doesn't go into what's on the card. But, you know, here, Temperance, Iris, Goddess of the Rainbow. I mean, it does tell you. I didn't particularly love the artwork either, I've got to say, but I've sort of grown to love it. When I use, I do use this in store because it's so easy to use. I do quite love this deck. I do, there's Hephaestion, Eight of Pentacles, working away there at his craft. He was the lover of, the husband of Aphrodite, and he's the one that sort of created a net to catch her and Aries or Mars, Venus and Mars. He caught them having an affair. You know, I love the Greek gods because they're, you know, they're doing everything, all the things we're not supposed to do. And the moon, I mean, it is quite good. It's grown on me. At the beginning, I thought it was very cartoonish, but then the Hierophant, again, the Centaur, he gets that a lot. I've grown to love it. I think there's a lot in it. I think it's been very well done. Quite masterful. I don't know that it celebrates Circe as much as it just sort of, I don't know, works around maybe the Odyssey. I mean, that would be Achilles, really. I'd be surprised if it's not Knight of Wands with that image. It goes through the Greek myths, of course. It is quite an interesting deck. I do recommend it. When I first got it, I was a little bit sort of, I don't know, dubious about it. But then, as I said, it grew on me because the images are quite exotic. Very sort of a bit Art Nouveau-ish. So in case you haven't seen this deck, it's quite excellent. This is probably my favourite card. I posted it on Instagram recently. I just think it's gorgeous. I'll stop now. But yeah, as I said, I think it's worth it getting. I'll stop there. And the backs are, you know, very nice. I like the cardstock. I like the size. Right? Nice. Right? Nice. So I'll put that away. I'm not going to start putting them in their boxes. Okay, so we'll go from something that's mass market again to something that's, oh, you all know my favourite deck. This is the Mythic Tarot. I'm going to have a sip of wine. This is how I first saw it. In fact, I don't think this is how I first saw it. It is purple. I don't know if the first box I got it in was black or purple. The backs on these are purple. And my deck was mid-80s and black. But there you get that. So you've all seen this deck. Inside is a beautiful cloth. I shall open it. I shall open it for you. Why not? It's Simon & Schuster, the publishers. You can get it. It's no longer in print. There is a modern version of it, but as I said, it's not good. I've said it a million times. I don't like it. This is the purple version. I have, as you well know, the black version, right? And I've got, I think, 10 copies of this deck. The original, this is how I learnt tarot from this deck. The mythology is what appealed to me because I grew up with those stories because I had a Greek background. The cloth probably doesn't show you very clearly, but it has the Celtic cross on it. So that's that. And in terms of the cards, I'm not going to get those ones out because it's just too confusing to put back in. This is another version I have of it. It's probably, again, purple backs. My preference is the black backs. This isn't, all the smaller ones are sort of the 90s versions. I've edged this one probably in purple as well, but the cardstock is crappy. And you know, you've all seen this deck, so if you haven't, here it is a bit. The images are, to me, wonderful, consistent, and on point. I mean, that's just the most beautiful thing. I don't know what happened in the modern version that they've brought out and why everyone looks, I guess because, I don't know, did a AI do it? Did a computer do it? I don't know. But these are stunningly done and they look very human. One of my favourite cards is this Hierophant in the cave. I don't know, probably the best Ten of Swords ever. I love that sort of, I don't know if it's a sunset or a sunrise, but that little orange bit in the background, that's Athena, I think, there. Probably another favourite card. And beautiful Persephone with her pomegranate between the two columns. Am I ever going to stop buying this deck? I don't know. I keep buying it. I see it, and if I see it for like a good price, I don't know. Oh, I didn't have one in a box. I'll get that one in a box. Oh, I want the box one in the black back. I want this. I want that. Oh, God, for God's sake. I don't know. Us collectors are something else. All right, something else. All right, so that's sort of, again, mass market. You can, the vintage copy I think you can buy from eBay for sure, because I'm constantly looking and I constantly see it. The modern version, if you want it, get it. I don't know, it's terrible. Okay, this is another beautiful deck. This is called Il Tarocco Mitologico from Bologna in Italy. It is stunning. This has got, it's out of print, it's vintage. It's printed in Bologna in Italy. I don't know what to say. I don't know if you can get it or can't get it. I got it. A lot of these things I stumble on. But the book is in Italian and then also beautiful. Sort of like an indigo, isn't it? And then in English. Right. But I think it sort of does lend itself towards a little bit more the Tarocchi and the Marseillais tradition, more so than like the Rider-Waite. But you can read it as a Rider-Waite if you want to. It's got the covering cards. And the quality is outstanding. And it's smooth. You know, you can do that. You get matte cards that are thick. You say to your client, here, give me 3 cards, give me 10 cards, and you can't do that. It's not good. 10 of Wands. So on top we have the Italian, and on the bottom we have the English. It's a stunning, stunning deck. Again, it you know, a lot of it is from the Iliad and the Odyssey. I mean, that would be Achilles, probably here. That would be Homer. Homer. That would be Hector. That after he slaughtered, he ran him around as a prize. And, you know, his lover was, well, you know, his friend was killed. Patroclus, and that was his sort of the wrath of Achilles, I guess. If you haven't read The Song of Achilles from Madeline Miller, you're missing out. That's all I'm going to say. It's outstanding, as is this deck. Nudity, but I'm trying to cover it. I don't want problems with I'm trying to forget cards here that aren't so bad, but I'm failing. I don't care. Beautiful, beautiful deck. And the backs are stunning. Shuffles like a dream. I'm not sure it would riffle shuffle, but I'm not a riffle shuffler, so I don't like to do that to the cards. It looks great, but it's just very harsh. So this goes, I mean, you can read about the mythology through it, and, you know, this does deal with the Odyssey and the stories of the Odyssey. But yes, it's not mass market, but it's stunning. The Fool, look at that. Stunning. There'll be another deck that's similar to that. I'll get to it. Actually, I'll go mass market now. So that's that beautiful. So Amerigo Folchi and Andrea Gamboni. I've massacred that, but if you do want it, I think you can find it. You can look it up, and you will get it. I mean, if we want to go at the moment, if you want to go mass market, you can go, something close would be the Renaissance Tarot. Not really close, but in terms of the way it's set out, Brian Williams, who is brilliant, the Renaissance Man of Tarot, this is the current version that's out. This is the one I got from the 80s, right? It's not that different to that. I never kept the box. I always had it in a sort of a silk sort of wrap around. But now I just put them in these clear things because I can't remember what's what and I've got too many. The quality is very similar to this, if not identical. I think this is better. All the older decks are just outstanding. I mean, it is furry here for me because I've used it so much. The beautiful backs, which have got beautiful little images on them. And you get the book is shiny and it goes through everything. But, as with the Mythic Tarot, if you do want to get a separate, there was a separate book that came with it. Because who's going to read that little thing? So, and Brian Williams is so well read, right? So well read. And so knowledgeable, right? Little poems, meanings, historical, all sorts of historical things. The guy's, he's just so knowledgeable. This is a great book. And then reading the cards, you get, he's got a bibliography like you would in the old days. He's got spreads. I mean, they're all pippish, but they're not fully pippish because it sort of, it gives you the divinatory meanings, but then it gives you Demeter mourns the daughter, the disappearance wanders the world in search of her, blah, blah, blah. You know, when she gets Persephone in the underworld. I mean, he goes through the myths. And it is quite, I mean, here he is with death. This is an excellent book. If you can find it, I do recommend it. It's just brilliant. And it doesn't, this has got a, as I said, the book's got a bit in it, but that was the old deck. I'll just put that back in the bag. And just so you feel confident, I'll show you the version that's out now. I got this from Store, I think, where I actually read tarot from. I think it's US Games and it's readily available. Nearly, identical. The cardstock is a little bit better on the other one. I'm drinking my wine, dark sea wine. And, here it's got some, like this is the 9 of Pentacles and it says safety on it. It's got some Latin words as well. But once you get into the book is here as well, not shiny, that hopeless paper. But here you go, 5 of Swords. Shrewd Odysseus and valiant Diomedes, representing all the Greek chieftains, entreat Achilles to return to battle. They promise prizes, including captive women, Briseis. Achilles stubbornly refuses, and the war goes ill for the Greeks. That's the 5 of Swords. That's how he describes it. That's how close this is to the Odyssey. It's got these Renaissance images, of course, rather than ancient images. Again, it's just gorgeous. They did a great job of the new version because I did put it side by side. I'm not going to do it here. And that side by side showed me that it wasn't too different. And there's Hercules. Beautiful, beautiful. La Fortuna, Chance, the Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. And I'm so happy I have the book, the big book. There's a Romeo and Juliet in that, isn't there? The lovers. So it doesn't sort of go too much to the, the ancient sort of nudie images, which I don't mind at all, but shuffles beautifully. The other one's just slightly thicker, but because it's furry on the ends, because of how much use I gave it, it's sort of deceptive because it's got pips, but with the pips, as we said, we've got the 3 of coins here. He's still got images, and here it writes perfection, and then it sort of has the reverse images on the bottom, right? Mediocrity, right? Perfection and mediocrity. It's interesting, right? It is very small, so it's hard for me to see. I would need what do you call these things? Magnifying glasses to see it. So, wealth, attainment, wealth, sans without in French, happiness. Interesting, very interesting reading, very interesting meanings. And on the other side, it's in Italian. I can't. This deck is, as all of Brian Williams, he's got a Minchiate deck as well, which is sort of tarot size rather than Minchiate, and he has a book with that, and it's absolutely, again, outstanding. And just, I'm very sort of, I don't want to be anal retentive, but I didn't bring any of the Marseille decks or the Tarocchi decks that have Greek images and things in them, like Zeus and Alexander the Great, that's the Solobusca and things like that, because I just wanted specifically to deal with decks that have only specifically Greek themes. Otherwise, this would be too long, right? If I want to bring out everything that had ancient Greek stuff in it or any Greek stuff in it, I would, we're going to be here all day. So next one, that's mass market. Okay, next one again, out of print. So let's go to out of print. So we've got the Olympus Tarot. And again, I'm not going to go to the Byzantine Tarot either. When I say my Greek decks, the Byzantine Tarot is, it's Greek imagery from the Byzantine period. But it's not what I'm sort of talking about here, because I'm trying to stick with the Odyssey, and not just the Odyssey itself, but ancient Greece. So I'm not dealing with Byzantine Greece, right, which is Christian you know, the Greek world after Christianity, and the Roman world, the Greek and Roman world after Christianity. I'm dealing with the ancient Greek world. So that's why I won't bring out something like the Byzantine Tarot. Olympus Tarot is, again, Los Scarabeo. They do quite a lot of these decks. This is the proper Los Scarabeo version. There is a version that you can buy, I think, at the moment from Ukraine, which is sort of like a Russian-y, and I bought it. And that's the book that goes with it. The deck I've got doesn't have a book, but it's in Russian, right? And okay, you need the phone to help you with it. But the deck I've got didn't come with a book. But again, it's that's just there. Again, great cardstock, beautiful backs. We're dealing with mythology. And this is stunning. The colours in the new, I don't want to bring it out to compare it here, but the colours in the sort of Ukrainian version are not as intense as the colours used in this. And this is sharp, far sharper. I don't know if they do Fazzy Mills. I don't know how they do them, or do they redraw them. The cardstock is great and almost identical, and the backs are identical, but this is far superior. And again, we're dealing with all these myths. I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. The stars. And again, you know, we've got the Four of Chalices. And we've got these scenes. The High Priestess. And it's got that Greek writing in the background, which I can read. So it is accurate. It's not gobbledygook. We've got a constellation here. We've got the 10 of Cups. I'm not sure which constellation that is, but it's gorgeous. It does look like a cup though, like the cup bearer. Empress. Very Cleopatra, if you ask me. I mean, if you've seen the film, you know that, with Elizabeth Taylor. So all these creatures and these mythological scenes, it does need the book. So that's why I will get that book, and I will translate and probably take photos and print it up for myself, because I want to know exactly what scenes we're talking about. This is probably Aphrodite and Aries, or Venus and Mars having their affair. Because I want to know why you would choose this for the 7 of Cups. Right? The Sun. Artemis. To me, it has the same sort of feel as the mythological tarot, but both are beautiful and both have their, you know, I collect decks, so they're very similar, but Greek mythology is probably one of my favourite things. I'll move along so we don't take too long. So I do collect them even when they look similar, and the quality of them is outstanding. This is the tarot of the Greek magical papyri, the PGM tarot, created by Jason Augustus Newcomb. This is too bizarre to go into now, and I haven't studied it enough to go into it, but it comes with a book when you buy. I got this on Etsy. It's probably still there. And he's detailed. I mean, this guy is detailed. This deck requires work. I don't know if I could ever just take this deck to store and just sort of start reading with it, right? Because there's more than 78 cards. And you also can choose your own sort of archetypes for the first, you know, the major arcana. like he's got major arcana and he's got extra major arcana. So you can swap over. If you don't want the full as Hermes, you can have the full as, I don't know why, Aries, or if he's done it, you know, he's done it, let's say he's done it alphabetically, you may want Dionysus as the full, which the Mythic Tarot, let's say, has, right? So, and then he goes to, and that, maybe just stick with that, otherwise you're going to do your head in. And it's sort of, this guy just knows a lot. The Oracle of Delphi, which I have an oracle deck too, and it has all these sayings to help you along. So, and this has got a lot of this in it as well. So we've got here, honey sweet wine has the best of you, which others also. Just interesting. It's just a fascinating deck, and it's got magical stuff in it as well, like, you know. And he's stuck with the sort of the type of artwork that you'd get, and it's got Egyptian stuff in it as well, but it sort of applies. I mean, that's my other love, is Egyptian artwork. Anubis, Amun. He sort of mixes it up. But you can really create your own deck and oracle from this. Zeus. So, you know, you've got the vases with these images. I think that's where he's got them from. Prometheus. Persephone. Okay, I'm not going to show Pan because it's a bit controversial. Callisto. Iris. A lot of course, and you find that, you know, I've got all these decks and they're sort of repetitive, but the images are different. And when you read for people, apart from knowing the history, the myths, this, that, the other, the deck itself gives you a different vibe. I love the World card. It's a complex deck. Would that such a man be called my husband? So this is a very interesting deck. I do want to edge it. I've been stuck with what colour to edge it. I mean, black is the obvious colour, but I'm not sure I do want to do deck. But you can see how thick it is, right? And you can see how many cards there are. They're quite hard on. As I said, you can use it both as an oracle. You can... There's magic, there's spells in it. You can start working on it that way, and you can sort of divide it up and use it as a traditional tarot deck. Do I recommend it? For curiosity, yeah. For sure. I had to have it. And when I get time, I will go through the book. But that's a very interesting deck. Again, independent, not mass market. So maybe we try and move to mass market. Otherwise... So here we are. Okay, if we want to go to mass market, we've got the Minoan Tarot. I think it's the Bronze Age again. I'm sure that the Minoan palette is quite stunning, right? This is, I think, Schiffer. Laura Perry did this. I tell you, this woman is another you know, these people know their stuff. Beautiful colours. Outstandingly beautiful deck. Again, you know, I hate it when, like, we've got the Three of Labrases. I have to work out what's swords, what's this, what's... I don't like it when things change. I'm not going to pretend I do, right? But it is what it is. But the artworks, look at that, so stunning. We'll go through it a little bit. This is, I think it's still available everywhere. I don't... These boxes, sometimes you've got to wonder about these half boxes, but anyway, these half, I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't want to whinge with first world problems. Okay, beautiful backs, beautiful blue. You can see I've tried. Oh dear. They're sort of glossy. I don't mind. I love glossy, so I don't mind. You just have to work out what's what in terms of the suits. But she does use a colour scheme that makes it easier. And I think the images are taken from like the Temple of Knossos in Crete, where a lot of these images were found. I think they're found, they might even be found in Santorini as well. I remember being in the museums there and thinking that the imagery has this sort of bend in it as well. So, I mean, surely, you know, the Minoan civilization was around the whole area, but I don't know who's found what. The world. It's just stunning. There's the red string. I think this has a unique system to it. I don't know. I don't use, look, I'm going to be honest. I don't sit there getting too caught up in the systems. If I want to read a deck, I read it. As long as I know what the suits are and what the major arcana are, I'm fine. Beautiful, the moon. This is stunning. Like that for me is the Six of Cups, right? So it's sort of a pippish deck, but I don't care. It's stunning. Not that I mind, but, you know, pip decks. Six of Daggers. I think for the public, it is lovely to see images on cards when you're trying to explain where they're up to in their Odyssean journey or what they're doing. When they see images that make sense to them, they can relate rather than some abstract pip card and you're trying to explain something to them. I think it's gorgeous. So that's this death. That's this, and balance. I'll stop there because that is stunning. So these are some games they used to have in the Minoan culture. Very skilled artisans, very, very beautiful civilization. They're square cards too, which I quite like. Okay, so that's the Minoan Tarot. Recommended. I mean, I'm a collector just because I have decks. Okay, I don't use all the decks I have, and I'm quite happy to have decks that I don't use. I'm not utilitarian. I'm not some sort of, you know, Marxist tarot collector or reader that has to use all, you know, a lot of people, oh, I don't use it, so I'm getting rid of it. So what? It's beautiful. Just leave it. I mean, if you can afford it, I'm not saying, but there's decks I just won't use. I don't want to use them. I just want to look at them because they're stunning and beautiful, and maybe they're not for mass market sort of people. They may be too abstract for some people, and sometimes you don't know who you're seeing, so you can't always judge. But if I have repeating clients, and I do, when I get to know them, I do open them up to different decks because they also get involved in choosing the decks and the readings they like. And why not? But this is the Red Threads Tarot, Linda Hill. I've got one, I'm just about to order it as well, which is the stone one. And this is the Red Seeds Tarot. So these deal again with the Greek myths. And there's a third one, right? Again, if we go to the artwork, I struggled a little bit with this artwork and the size of the deck because the cards are quite large. They're sort of oracle size cards, but she's so good. And I mean, let's be honest, she's got, oh, look, I forgot the Mythic Tarot also, because it was so popular, came with a workbook. Right, I forgot to mention. So if you do want to work on it, there is a workbook that really helps you get through it on top of the guidebook. So that's that. So sorry that I didn't bring that out. And I found that now because I had it under these. So these are the gorgeous books you get with Linda Hill. Very well read and beautiful quality. Pictures, descriptions. She's a very Carl Jungian interpretation of the tarot, the soul's journey, Artemis, I am tension, I am alchemy, I'm the unknown. And she's got quotes. And suddenly, you know, it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Brilliant. A bee is never busy as it seems. It's just that it can't buzz any slower. That's me. Who has seen the shadow separated from the light? Remy, I am courage. 7 of torches. Again, 7 of torches, 7 of this, 7 of that. I mean, okay. But we just have to sort of remind ourselves. I haven't edged it. I think it should be edged. I probably will. I just haven't had... I've got a lot of projects. 5 of Cups. She goes through... You know, these decks go... This one here goes through the journey. If you don't know. The Labyrinth, the Minotaur, Ariadne, and Dionysus. And they're sort of lovers with broken hearts and this and that, and how they get together, separate and help each other. It's quite... Walk the pathways of initiation where you will find unity and wholeness. Beautiful story, beautiful decks. The Ace of Threads, and it has the red thread in it where she helps Dionysus, and we've got the Minotaur. Greek myths are outstanding. I can't tell... If you don't know, open yourself up to it. The back of the cards are gorgeous. The beginning, and just as far from that which we were seeking at first, then it seems like falling into a labyrinth. We thought we were at the finish, but our way bent round, and we found ourselves as if it were back at the beginning, and just far from that which we were seeking at first. Just beautiful. And this one here too, the Red Seeds, is the Eleusinian Mysteries. You get all these things when she sends them. I showed you the books already. So again, even with this deck, you get into, you're invited to join the initiates, the Mistai, and immerse yourself in the archetypal journey, rich in myth, symbols, shadow, dreams, and inquiry, and self-discovery, right? Persephone and Demeter. So she goes into the underworld, and again, I didn't love the artwork, but it's grown on me. Like, I like it. And when you read the book, you just get so much, the pharmakis, you get so much out of it. The Devil. That was the Fall, which fell. Okay, let me pick it up then, since it wanted to fall out of my hands. Weird. I think they're just exquisite decks, these decks. And when I do the oracles, you'll see the beautiful oracles as well. And sometimes I see people selling them, and I'm like, how could you buy that and sell that? But anyway, that's the 2 decks, and there's the 2 books that come with that. So when you buy them, yes, they're not cheap. Etsy has those. Second last deck. I know this has taken a while. We're getting there. This is the Sublime Thresholds Tarot, Urania Press, and it has the tarot. It has mythological scenes and people, classical art, and Greek words. But the Greek words don't always align with the meanings. There's black and white pictures. I would have preferred colour, and I would have preferred glossy, but it doesn't matter. So if we have the Lovers here, we've got intensity, okay, and then we've got synergia, which is synergy. It doesn't really translate, but it's interesting. That makes it interesting for me, especially knowing Greek. And I have felt a presence that disturbs me with joy of elevated thoughts. Elevated thoughts, Williams Wordsworth. Urania Press. I mean, what can I say? Unlocking the codes of the sublime of the Tarot Arcana with evocative Baroque, Romantic and Gothic images. What can I say? This is outstanding. Beautiful cardstock. I love it. It comes with a book. I think the book might be separate because it comes with its own little, little book. Let's, whatever. Which is quite good. I see that the book itself doesn't really go into what artwork is chosen. But I think the big book must. Right, so here we've got John William Waterhouse, I think. Artwork, yeah. John William Waterhouse, 1892, Circe, right? And that's what I love seeing. I love being told what artwork I've got. It came edged, but it sort of went like that. But it sort of still suits the back, so it's weird. I have used it quite a bit. I take this to store. People love this deck. I like it too. It's got that sort of thickish cardstock. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's easy to use. It's small. And it's got extra cards in it. This has got sort of like mountains. Not Lenormand, but it's got interesting, right? Endurance, Anavisi. Two of Cups, Twilight, Enosi. It's beautiful. Queen of Pentacles, which is interesting because I think that's Athena for me, but yeah, I think it's Klimt's Athena, and they've put it as Queen of Pentacles. I would always put her as Queen of Swords, but Empowered, Eptichia. Eptichia, interesting word. There's a luck in that word, but because tichi is luck. Luck upon you. Anyway. King of Wands. Archaic and Charisma. Okay, maybe it's an addition, not a translation. I don't know. The Sun. So we've got luminosity and chara, which is joy, right? In Greek, chara is joy, right? Nine of Wands. Depths. Two of Wands, vastness. And that's the famous painting by Friedrich. I love that painting. Everyone loves that painting. Here we go, Circe. Enticement, Fantasia. Maybe I am seeing it not as a translation, but as an addition. Glory, Nikki, victory, Six of Wands. Well, Nikki is straight out victory. Again, I think this is Circe again. Magnetism. Ruins. See, that's Tempest. Vathos, which is depth in Greek. Beautiful, beautiful deck. I keep forgetting how beautiful it is. King of Cups. Stunning. Stunning, stunning. And I have also I couldn't resist. So when I do the oracles, you'll see their oracle deck as well. That sort of accompanies, if you want to put it that way, this deck. But again, I think you can still get this on Etsy. I think it's Urania Press. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to go to, Delphi. Where else, And I'll try and finish my beautiful. It's cooled down a little bit. I had it quite warm. I've got it in a thermo cup because I can heat it up in the cup. You can get them. I don't. You can add the orange and the cinnamon and the cloves and everything, but I sort of get it ready made. Now, I have got. This deck is difficult, so look away if you want it and you can't get it. It does come up every now and then, but it's, in the thousands. So not for the average person. But, this does have the name of the picture that's used, or the artwork that's used, and it goes into a Spartan soldier performs. I mean, she really went through it properly and described what was going on in the picture, why she chose the picture, and the pictures are perfect. This is a perfect deck, as is her other one, the Majestic Earth. This is perfect. It's glossy, which I love. I refuse to edge it. I just don't know if I don't want to edge it. It's Cleopatra. It deals with a lot of Greek mythology through the classical artwork. But her choices are excellent. The palette is excellent. Again, we have Circe again, the Enchantress of Cups. But this works beautifully. And if you go through the book, you'll see that these are all mythological figures. Not so much the story of the Odyssey, but as I said, these are my Greek mythological decks, right? The Hero of Wands. The Fool. They're just stunning. I don't know. It's breathtaking. The Siren. It's absolutely breathtaking. The Lovers. And that must be Cupid and Psyche. I don't use it much because I just get too fearful of destroying it. If I get a backup of it, if I am lucky and something happens, I will use one of the two. Same thing happened with the Spolia. I have got a backup, but I got a backup that was quite affordable because it was trimmed. The borders were taken off, but that's the one I use, and I'll keep the other one because look at that blue. And look at the detail. I mean, this is not some sort of facsimile, and I can see that on camera it's not as clear as what I'm seeing. And I think we'll Narcissus. And she put him as the Four of Coins, which I find fascinating. The Shipwreck, which is the Tower. This is the covering card. So I don't think I've shown you all the books. I mean, the Mythic Tarot came out. The workbook came out a little bit later. I will do part 2. The sun wasn't fantastic, but as I said, it is winter. Let me just get the Sublime. Let's just do a quick 3 card. See what comes out. And you can see I've got the scarf I've got today. A lot of people do comment on the normal scarf I use, which is the Zodiac scarf. It's a vintage scarf by Hermes. This is a Hotel Bretagne in Athens, which is a very nice hotel. And Mary Karanzu, who is a designer, designed a scarf for the hotel. And that's why it was limited. And I wanted to support her, and it's a very old hotel. Very beautiful hotel in Athens, which has a view on the roof of the Parthenon, Acropolis. Let's see what comes out. Do a quick spread, why not? The Star came out, which is beautiful. Delight. Xananima, beautiful. That, to me, I think that would be Gustave Moreau, that artwork. Probably one of my my favourite artists. I think he's a symbolist. I mean, this is an easy one that you do for the day. The Wheel of Fortune, right? So Sometimes the Wheel of Fortune tells you take your foot off that pedal, right? Stop trying to push that wheel. Let life take its course. Let that wheel go through. Or is it a bad karma day and the karmic wheel's going to sort of make a stop with you today, make you think about things. Then we've got mountains, which I've left it in there. So obviously embrace that. That would indicate to me that today may be a karmic day with some karmic forces, and embrace the difficulty, embrace the journey, embrace that today may not be an easy day, that it may be a day where you need to climb right to the top of the mountain, and it could be a journey of getting tired and you seeing obstacles, right? But the wheel here might indicate it's here for a reason. It's here for your growth. What to release, what away. So two, you've got two, interesting that two sort of oracle type cards rather than tarot came out. And waterway, sometimes I separate them so I don't have this. But water for me is always being emotional. Now, sometimes it says be more emotional. But in this, it's saying release, getting emotional about the day. If it's a difficult day, try and release your emotion, detach from it, stand outside of your emotions, right? And therefore, you can navigate to the star, navigate to that destination where you're heading, right? Which is, whatever that mountain and the top is for you. Today may be just getting through it, getting through the day. Some days are difficult to get through. And the Knight of Wands, right? So the Knight of Wands is be adventurous, right? Open-minded, ready for the adventure. See it as an adventure rather than something that you need to conquer, something that you need to do as a labour of, let's say, Hercules, right? Sometimes when things are difficult, see them as an adventure and try and shift your mindset so you can get through it. I don't want to talk too much because the video's gone so long. But once I start talking when I read, I get very engrossed in readings and things. And this is another pretend read that isn't a pretend read. But anyway, that was, for me today, that was my Greek deck so far. There's probably more coming. I'll probably do an update of this, in a year from now. But I do recommend the Odyssey. I do recommend the film and Emily Wilson's interpretation. I have heard she doesn't like the film. The film has a lot to offer. As I said, if you really want to see my thoughts about why I think the film is what he's trying to do, go to Instagram and have a look at it. If you want a reading from me, you can always find me in store. And, that's all on my Instagram page. And maybe this one as well. And if you do, this is also a great book. Always sits in front of me, so I might as well show it to you. Edith Hamilton, The Greek Way, right? It is a beautiful Thucydides, Aristophanes, Plato. She sort of summarizes quite a lot of interesting aspects about Greece, Xenophon, Thucydides. I do recommend this book. This is the most boring looking version of the cover I've ever seen. I have that one, but there's some versions of Edith Hamilton's books which are quite nice. But thank you for staying the distance, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with the oracles, the Greek oracles. Bye for now.